Hello guys, I am Kristen from Massively Tiny Stitches. I am coming to you today with another stitch with me. We are going to be continuing to work on this one here. As you can tell, I did work on this one a little bit, and I have another one going over here as a different design. My wife finally decided what she was going to do, so got this little griffin going over here. But today we're going to continue on with this this one that we had started together last time. Last time I was working on this, at least. So as with before, I'm just going to kind of get going with it. That was not intentional. We'll undo that. And make sure it goes into the right hole. Alrighty. So the shape, I had started stitching the one on the left to try to get the fabric a little bit more stabilized so I could use the hoop. Certainly there's not great tension on the hoop right now to be able to do this, but there is enough to be able to put the hoop on today, which does make my life a lot easier in terms of being able to stitch this. I also, the black that I'm using, black thread, it does not necessarily like me either. So, you know, everything is just trying to make my life more difficult. That's what happens with tiny stitches. Every little thing that goes wrong feels bigger because it's harder to take out. There's a lot of kind of downsides to it, but the end product is so fun that I still come back to it even despite the frustrations. So, oh, I realized I don't have all the colors that I want right now. Well, that was silly of me. I'm going to actually be stitching this differently than I did this one on the left as well. I can typically go color by color. Certainly that's what I did on this. That one over there as well is going color by color, but I'm actually going to stitch this one essentially row by row as it goes up. See if I like that better for this kind of project, or this size project more than anything. Doing a little bit of like a, I guess a quote-unquote Gemma's kind of stitching model. Making sure that not everything is blocked in at the end of the day. Having at least one side that's open. When I learned about full coverage, I'm going to do these ones on the side. When I learned about full coverage, I had been learning the snake method from, oh gosh, what's her name? Stitching Ninja, maybe? Or something like that. I haven't seen a video come out from her in a really long time, but that's where I learned about parking, that there was this thing that existed. That's completely different, a different way of stitching than I'd ever seen before. I'd never, I guess, thought about even stitching not stitching out your entire thread kind of way. And so that was, quite honestly, really insane to even think about. Sorry, I was counting. I think I have 6. 3. I need to go grab those other colors though real quick. So I'm gonna pause you guys and then I will be right back, I think. I did get a good amount of stitching done this weekend. I was kind of hanging out on the couch with my dog, so I didn't film a lot of it. They were being in need of cuddles at the end of the day for us. This is going to be the next color for me. Yeah, they were pretending they were neglected all week. Not getting any love whatsoever. In the way that only dogs can do. Struggling over here to get thread and the needle. Okay. Next color. We'll do that one. As you can probably tell, things get a little tight. But it does all fit at the end of the day. Oh, looks like I missed a stitch. I'm gonna go back and fill that guy in. again. I think there's a dog hair or potentially some of this black thread here that's peeking through. There we go. That's better looking. Do you find I have to cut the threads a bit shorter than what I do on most projects because of how tight it is? Like on this one, that was all done with one thread of black, which was dumb because then the thread just shredded completely by the end of it. So that is something that does happen when it is this tight. You just gotta be a little bit more careful, especially if you're having to like frog stitches or anything like that, which, believe me, I try my darndest to not have to do with this size. I do on occasion do a reverse stitch or two, but usually that's when I've realized I've either gone straight down accidentally or I have gone a double stitch wide somehow, aka just don't really notice it at this size until you get the needle through and it's like, oh, that looks wrong. Part of my difficulty is that this is not a very good black thread. It is very much, what's a good description for it? Fluffy maybe, but like it just doesn't like to be threaded. It doesn't like anything. It would say it doesn't like life, but it's a thread after all. next one's this darker teal color. And as you can tell, these are just kind of wads of thread. The friend who this is for, actually, she goes to like a Goodwill outlet quite often, which, for those of you that might not know, charity shop that they do their sales. Instead of like a price per item, they do a price per pound. So she loves to get thread from them because it's one of the, like, I guess, best deals you could ever get from kind of one of those places, because threads are super light and cheap and all that sort of stuff. So that's where she will often get some of these random off threads. When she does do that, though, it just kind of ends up in my thread bin of random colors. I have it where the thread bin at this point is at least generically colored. So like all of the reds are together, all of the oranges kind of thing, but even with that, I was looking for some for this griffin here, and I didn't have any tans for all of the random off threads that she has. Usually those do come in what we call wads often, so it's just a matter of finding what works for us. I don't like to use more expensive threads when I can avoid it. Now I think I do need to be a little bit careful here. This, the edge of the fabric is coming around my hoop. I have a gut feeling that it's going to try to get its stuff stitched in, but and maybe that's just me being paranoid. My wife has a playlist on Spotify, and literally we always switch it off of the play mode, but whenever you turn it on, it's always the first same song. And that song is definitely stuck in my head today. I don't even know what it's called, to be fair. Oh, I get an extra stitch. Oh, it doesn't like that one today. Let's try this again. I think I blocked the camera lens too much. It didn't know what to do with it. this other thread into a stitch that goes here. So that was done. I'm gonna do this and still try to put this stitch in the right place. I'll pull that thread out. I don't know if many people have seen this version of threading a needle. You just kind of push it in, and there ends up being this little bit here. You can then pull through. It's one of my faster methods of threading. So depending on how sticky your hands are, dry usually is what it actually is for me. It doesn't like that as much, so it's sticking to my fingers a little bit more. There we go. I've decided the weird part of stitching this on film is that I have to put my hand over the camera in order to get the needle into at the right angle, because it won't go in with how small the holes are. It actually won't go in very easily unless it's straight up and down. So it makes it a little bit more awkward. Harder to do a stitch with me if you can't see what's happening. My needle's twisted on me today. I wonder if it's a little bit bent. Come on. Needle does not like this hole today. There we go. Oh, I figured out what happened. The teal color was a little bit too long. It got cut on the backside. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the other part that I dislike about this size, is that it gets kind of I guess fuzzy might be the right description, but on the top of it there becomes this like fluff layer that gets in the way of being able to sometimes see where the holes are. I feel like I have to pick that off more often. I don't know if it's the threads that I'm using or because they are a little bit fluffier of threads. Like almost like a CXC type of it, but I have to pull off those extra fluffs a little bit. otherwise sometimes you can't tell how many holes you've stitched or things along that side. I don't know what just happened. Something weird happened though. I think I just double stitched. That's okay. Alrighty, I'm gonna put a pin in it for now. I'm gonna stop there, and gotta get going. So I will see you guys later. Got that one going. That one has the outlines of the same pattern, so these two are the same. And we got little Mr. Griffin going here. This part right here is all stitched in white. It's actually probably a little bit easier to see on camera than it is in real life. It looks like the same exact color as the fabric here. But so there's some of that missing in that upper left corner, but otherwise it's all stitched in. So then I'll be doing all the browns in his wings and in his body a bit more, and then I gotta finish out his beak as well. But that's where I'm at in terms of my projects for today. Alrighty guys, take care.